Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask a Maker Educator. We are super excited to be here with our second season of the series. We have some awesome guests lined up for you this year. And to kick it off, we have a wonderful educator coming to us from New York. She is working at Mouse and will tell us a little bit more about what that means. I'm super excited to welcome Maggie Muldoon from Mouse. Maggie, hello, nice to have you, and tell us a little about yourself and what you're doing and why you're excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I am really excited to be here. So I'm the Design League Manager at Mouse, and Mouse is a national nonprofit. We just turned 20 years old, and our biggest offering is a learning platform that has curriculum and competency areas in a lot of different buckets, everything from game design to green technology to circuitry, IT skills. And I kind of focus on one of those courses, which is our Design with Purpose course, which kind of gets to the heart of what Mouse is, which is teaching students to use technology as a tool for creativity as well as a tool for making the world a better place. So our tagline is Design with Purpose. Oh, I'm sorry. Our tagline is Technology with Purpose. And the course is Design with Purpose that I sort of am leading right now. So I'm excited because we use human-centered design and the human-centered design process as kind of a catalyst for making and inspiring students to make new things and learn new tech tools based on their ideas of ways to improve the world around them.
Awesome. And what about yourself? So what got you excited about design? Do you come from a design background, or do you come from an education background? How'd you find yourself in this cool world?
I actually come from a fine art background and design background, kind of in the visual arts. And I actually was one of those students that was really intimidated by STEM and technology growing up. And it really wasn't, I really didn't see it as a tool, just another tool to make meaningful things with. And as an art teacher, I just kind of started teaching classes in like low-key science, and then building up to teaching robotics. And then as I became interested in that sort of thing, I realized how easy it was to learn at least enough to make something interesting with. And from there, I've just been sort of growing my practice as a maker, and as an educator and as an artist, sort of all at the same time.
Can you tell us a little more about Mouse's programs, the Create platform, and kind of the way that your programs work, and how educators might get involved in some of those cool programs?
Sure. Well, if you don't mind, I'll actually screen share here to kind of show a little bit about the Create platform. Yeah, so here's the Mouse Create platform. It's a series of activities. We have over 150 activities, I believe, in a whole bunch of different areas. So here's everything from 3D design to building a battery, building mobile apps, and these are all, they can be offered a la carte or as classes or courses. So a lot of schools use them integrate them into their classes, their science classes, or a lot of them run Mouse kind of as a group after school or during lunch. We also are used in a lot of community centers and libraries and places like that who want to offer different STEM offerings. Some schools, like, the science teacher might use our green technology course, while an art class is using our Design with Purpose course. So they can be sorted into, we have all these courses: circuitry and electronics, coding, Design with Purpose, a course to kind of train educators in how to use our site, green tech, IT, intro to design, which is more like 2D design, 3D design, serious games, which is a game design course, Sewable Tech, which we are just launching this fall. It's brand new. We're really excited about it. Tech Team, which is about kind of working together with other people to accomplish your goals while making things, and web literacy. So if I click on Design with Purpose, for example, it kind of goes to a playlist that takes you through
Gotcha.
um, all of the courses that would sort of make the human-centered design experience for students. Um, and for people to get involved, or schools to get involved, or any kind of groups or communities, I recommend just going to mouse.org. Our site, it has a lot of information and more detailed information about like what kind of specific activities are within each course, how to bring mouse to your site, kind of what our impacts are as a nonprofit. And I can also sort of show you here under our work, the Mouse Design League, which is sort of my specialty group of students. They're students from public schools across New York City, everywhere from the Bronx to Far Rockaway. They apply to be in the Design League, which is kind of an in-person mouse offering where students come together and go through the human-centered design process kind of in person, do a really deep dive of our Design with Purpose course, and spend the year working with people with disabilities. Well, that's kind of the purpose that we have chosen for the last couple of years. We've got a great partner in the ADAPT community network.
Gotcha.
So students interview and observe people with disabilities and work with them to brainstorm and create an idea for a solution to a problem that they face in everyday life, and then prototype and build a solution.
That's super cool. That's a really cool application of the design process. That's so cool to hear. And do the students work on choosing, like if they wanted to work with a different group, would they be able to explore that, or do you kind of stick with this one partnership for now?
In our design league, we just have such a meaningful relationship with the team at Adapts that that's what we've been doing. But the Design with Purpose course is designed, like if a school or a group were to use it, it's designed to be used in any kind of scenario. We've had groups, consider the environmental impact of technology at their school using this, or talk about the immigrant experience.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of what our courses kind of teach has to do with how and what students are, what they perceive as issues in their school, and like trying to identify areas for design opportunities, like how to look around and see opportunities to design anything to improve any kind of thing that bothers them. It doesn't have to necessarily be some grand impact. It can be something just as simple as, small ways to improve their school or classroom.
Yeah. How do these students take their experience and the communities that they're coming from and kind of the things that really excite them and bring that into this process? Because it seems like, to me at least, what seems like a really amazing part about all of these courses is that you've got the technological aspect, but then you've got that super, super human aspect. And it's really about like the human experience. And so how do students bring their own human experience into this?
Well, I think part of our secret or special sauce in what we do is that the human element of it comes first. And so we don't necessarily tell them, hey, you're going to learn how to make an app. They would, like, through their research and interviews or through their own interests, kind of come to have an idea for an app and then decide, okay, we're going to build this. Or instead, if their idea is for a piece of physical computing or a piece of fashion or an information campaign about anything in their school or community, like depending on their interests and about like what they uncover in their interviews, it's situated learning. Like that's how they decide what exactly they're going to build and what they're going to create. And so they work together. We also focus a lot on team building and trying to build a sense of like trust and acceptance and fun in the students so that they can, we work really hard to make it a place where they can feel as free as possible to just be themselves and make mistakes in front of each other and try new things and get really silly and creative. One of our kind of main guiding principles is that learning loves play. So we try to add a lot of kind of fun and playfulness into everything that we do.
Awesome. Would you mind talking a little bit about some of those guiding principles? I know that Mouse maintains, I think, 5, right?
Yeah.
Really awesome, clear, just really, really well put principles that go into their courses.
So that is, thank you for asking that. So if you go to just kind of, I think the Our Work section on mouse.org, we kind of lay it out. So learning loves play is a big one. Making is learning. So getting just it kind of leads from learning loves play. If you're making something and if you're trying things and if you're iterating, trying new things, trying different things like that's where the learning really lives, is through making new things and just attempting to make things.
Mm-hmm.
The human interaction above all. So as the students complete this work, they earn badges, digital badges that kind of serve as a digital portfolio that kind of saves all the work that they've done on their journey, but also helps the students, I think, learn the value of some of the human interaction that they learn and improve upon during the process. So like we give them a badge for empathy, and we give them a badge for learning how to pitch and talk about their ideas, and they practice that with each other. And they learn about the importance of empathy in design and how that's like one of the most important things you have to have if you're going to make things for other people.
Yeah.
And they learn to work collaboratively and kind of work with respect to each other. We are like a very tech focused youth development nonprofit, but a lot of times when we see like where the students see that it's made the most impact in their lives, it is in sort of the interpersonal learning how to work with others and learning how to relate to the world around them, like through their making.
That's super cool to hear. When you check in with the educator, or so I guess first question, do you have a relationship with the educators who are implementing the Mouse courses as an organization?
Yeah, we have a membership team that sort of keeps in touch. Mouse is in, gosh, I think like eight different states. We have the highest concentrations of schools in New York, California, and Minnesota. So we have a team in California, and we have people in Minnesota and people in New York. That we do in-person trainings, and we do a lot of like professional development for educators in sort of our learning pedagogy and our kind of like modeling and learning how we do things, and also like taking their feedback and trying to learn from our educators and how we can constantly be practicing what we preach and iterating on our own designs and offerings.
Yeah. And does that give you opportunities to kind of hear about the way that this is impacting students in a variety of different settings and the way that they're kind of taking this design knowledge and moving forward or trying new things with it?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things. It's always kind of surprising. We have a big culminating event that we're a partner with in New York, at least, that where a lot of students from kind of tech and making groups, digital media groups from across the city, like all bring projects to, and we always have a lot of Mouse schools and Mouse organizations come and present their projects that they've made, and it's always amazing to see the different kinds of projects that different school groups who are using our courses come up with, and it's stuff that we've never seen before. Sure. And that's always inspiring at the end of the year to see what students have done. And then also across the country, we have like every month we have a miniature make project, and students from across the country can submit what they've made, and we choose a couple winners and send them prizes, but also students can connect with each other across state lines or city lines and leave comments on each other's projects and kind of give feedback on these like monthly mini makes that are national.
That's
we
really
also
cool.
In New York offer an open event that's for, you don't have to necessarily be a member of the Mouse Network to come to our office once a month, and we have just big open maker nights, maker events.
Yeah.
And those are, they're free and they're open, and we have a whole bunch of, every month, like a rotating bunch of tables that it's kind of designed to be a place where students can just come and try new things, try anything, try circuitry for the first time, and then move one table over and try 3D printing for the first time, and then move one table over and create some homemade virtual reality. And
Sure.
so that's something that's kind of a way that we both like test out our new ideas before we put them on the site, and also kind of learn what students and teachers might be hoping for or looking for on the edge of new ways to make stuff.
Can you tell us a little more about the your course? So Design with Purpose. I mean, we've talked a little bit about why the design experience and design process are so super important. I think that it's really, I mean, it sounds like you would agree that it's about building human skills and about building those interpersonal skills, and the tech is not secondary, but definitely, the tech is a way to get to those other skills.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of clicked on our Design with Purpose
Sure.
playlist. So it starts, like I said, with design is everywhere, which is just kind of a way of like looking at every single object that you ever interact with in a day. That wasn't, pretty much everything you ever see in your life that has been designed by someone in some way. So like every mug you pick up, every computer that you touch, every pen you write with, like everything you touch has been designed by someone for some reason. So we have students sort of look around and just evaluate, like, why do you think they designed this way, and consider like every aspect of how and why things are made in different ways, and then find a way to like look for things that are maybe poorly designed, and start keeping a log of poorly designed things that they see in their world as a way of kind of training yourself to look for design opportunities. And each of these courses then goes to like a step-by-step kind of laying out like different steps that people can do either together or in a group. And then they can review and submit their evidence and receive a badge.
Awesome.
But the second one is human-centered design, where they just learn about the specific human-centered design process that we teach, which is, we learned a lot from IDEO and Cooper Hewitt and the Parsons School of Design, who are all people that we've worked with before. Mm-hmm. We actually have the Parsons School of Design who has kind of evaluated some of our work and endorsed some of our Design with Purpose badges.
Wow.
To say that like we've seen this and this is like legitimate design work. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, and an amazing way to connect students and show like this is the next step. This is what you could be doing, or these are the real people, recognizing that you're part of that community too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's powerful too to kind of just be like, this is the same process, like the process that we're trying this year, or this class is like the same thing that professional designers do and students at Parsons are doing. Like this is a real process of how to design things for other people.
Yeah.
So it starts with empathy, and it starts with just kind of trying to understand the problem that you're dealing with, or the community that you're dealing with, or who you're designing for, and like what it's like to live a day in their shoes as much as possible. Yeah. And then researching like what already exists to solve this problem, and different ways different things that have already been done, or things that contribute to this issue, that whatever issue they choose. Yeah. And then ideating, brainstorming. We have all kinds of brainstorming activities, and then prototyping. And ideating and prototyping kind of go in a circle for a while, where you're like going back to brainstorming, getting feedback from the people you interviewed, or the community you're working with, and then changing what you build to meet that feedback, and then taking it back and getting more feedback, and then prototyping some more, and then eventually the final step being sharing it out. And sharing it might lead back to the drawing board a little bit, or getting more feedback, but hopefully you've done a lot of that work, and then pitching it, sharing it, creating a portfolio. And that's kind of where our badges come in, to create a digital portfolio. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's...
And so students are able to upload, pictures and different examples of the projects they've created, and have that be sort of a living document online.
Mm-hmm. And because a lot of times they are working with other people, they can select collaborators, like we worked on this together, and like they can all kind of receive credit for it.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's Yeah, that's a great way to, in a digital space, represent the kind of connections and collaboration that I'm sure you see in that physical space of the classroom, which can be
Yeah,
really hard to do. So that's a really great approach to that.
thanks.
Yeah.
And you can see here, this is like the badges that they relate to. We've got like
Mhm.
these two projects would earn them the human-centered design badge, and then they move on to the empathy badge, design a better world and empathy in tech, interviewing and observation strategies, and like how to interview your target users, how to synthesize the information from your interviews,
Yeah.
creating personas, brainstorming, and then into prototyping and telling your design story.
Very cool. And so, are there ways when you're using this, or for educators who are involved in the course, to connect with each other, like outside of their class, like outside of their school, or is it more like you create a group of your students and that's your group?
Yeah, it would be you create a group of your, I mean, educators receive like a code where they can
Uh-huh.
create as many different kind of groups of
Hmm.
students as they want. We actually are just putting out a brand new feature that where you can kind of choose to feature some of your projects publicly. So if there's
Yeah,
something you're especially proud of,
that's cool. That's really,
um,
and
I
I'm
wonder
sure
if
students
it's
would appreciate that.
yeah, and it's brand new and it's really I'm not even sure if it's been officially
It's like
released yet, but
actually out there yet.
it will be if
Cool.
not it will be in the next couple days. But yeah, you can choose to make some of your projects public and then people can
Very cool.
comment on them or educators can connect over them nationally if
Yeah,
they want to.
that's
We
really
also we do a lot of in-person kind of mouse educator meetups and professional development workshops too, where we like really, I mean, we really learn a lot from our educators and like
yeah.
we consider them one of our most valuable resources.
Yeah, I mean, and it's super cool to hear that as an organization, it sounds like you're totally engaged in that same design process as you develop your courses. You're empathizing with your teachers, you're thinking about their needs and then going from there, which is totally the idea. I like that.
Yeah, we really do try to kind of practice
Yeah,
that. Just also, I mean, if we're asking students to do it, like it's important for us to know like areas where that's hard to do it. Like,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
we're always telling students if you're in the research phase and the empathy phase, like you shouldn't be having ideas yet because you don't have enough information. And if you have an idea, you'll get stuck on it before you have all the information necessarily. And so
Definitely.
that's a lot easier said than done as we're trying to gather information before we really get into the ideation phase. But it's something that we definitely strive towards.
Awesome. So besides joining an amazing Design with Purpose mouse course, what advice might you have for educators who are just kind of getting excited about the design process, or maybe haven't really explored it yet in their classroom and want to start doing that?
For me as an educator, I think not being afraid to learn alongside the students is really
Mhm.
important. I actually think it can be really powerful to sort of model like, hey, I'm learning this too, we're figuring this out together.
Yeah.
I think at least technology and design skills and all this stuff can seem so intimidating for students, but also for educators. And so I think it's important to kind of be brave and try new things and not be afraid to fail along with your students.
Yeah.
Fail forward, as we like to say. But again, that can be kind of scary.
Yeah. Definitely.
And also just trying to put um, the purpose first and like the human part of it first. It always like every year put my faith in humanity is restored and I see like students they really get excited about the idea that they can help people and they can contribute something positive to their world. Like every student I've ever worked with is like motivated by that when they realize they actually can affect some kind of change, like whether it's just in one classroom or something a little bit bigger.
Hmm.
And also putting the fun of it first. So
Yeah.
finding the why are we making this, like what are we making and why, like instead of the prescriptive like time to learn JavaScript. For
Sure.
me is like definitely a way to get students feeling comfortable to make stuff. Like if they have an idea of what they want to create and the technology is framed as a tool to help them create that. I think that's, for me at least, the best way to get kids like actively engaged in it and yourself.
do you have, if you were to share out 2 or 3 resources or things that you would encourage educators to check out? Maybe it's something from Mouse, maybe it's outside of Mouse. What might those resources be?
Well, definitely mouse.org.
Yep.
We have information about kind of all of this stuff and pretty responsive. But also, I would say, I mean, we definitely take inspiration from our partners at Cooper Hewitt. Like they always host a design retreat for some of our Design League students. And they're a museum that's dedicated to design. They have a lot of information about ways to integrate design into your teaching. We do a lot of work with Mozilla and the Hive, but also like Mozilla has a lot of cool work about like engaging ways to get kids interested in like computer-based internet stuff and active ways to engage there. Let's see. I would say we definitely were inspired by IDEO. Some like when we were building this course, they have like they're always iterating on interesting projects, and they have a lot of great modeling of like using the human-centered design process.
Excellent.
And then also we have, our students are always inspired by seeing our past students' work. So showing examples of other things that students have made. You know, we have one student group last year that made a neck pillow that has pressure sensors inside that interfaces with an art program that they made. So it's someone who's paralyzed can use their head and neck to draw. Like,
that's so cool.
Students seeing that other students built that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily a professional, and like here's how they learned how to do it.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. That's inspiration from peers can be really cool.
Instructables, I guess there's a lot of that kind of
totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you everyone out there for watching Ask a Maker Educator. We encourage you to check out, we'll be sharing out some of these resources and links that we were just talking about, so check out our Maker Ed's Twitter and Mouse's Twitter for some awesome links, and we will see you all soon. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.